All right, John Oakes here with HANKSTERS Hot Rods here in our Homer City, Pennsylvania facility. And today we've got a real nice car here to go over with you. A newest addition to our inventory, a 1971 Plymouth Cuda. Now this car, upon glancing it over here, looks to be what we would consider a survivor car, a car that probably hasn't been through any like major stage of restoration. But you could just tell how well this car has been maintained through the years. So as we go through it, again, keep that in mind. So we're going to do it just like we do all our other cars. We're going to start here at the back, and then we'll work our way up to the front on the underside, and then we always get it down off the lift to go around the outside for you. So here we are standing at the back end underneath. We've got the stock factory fuel tank in it here in really good condition. It's been painted up black just like the rest of the underside here. The mounting straps and hardware are all in good shape on this car. You see it's got the dual exhaust, and for the Cuda they have it done correctly with the chrome exhaust box tips back here poking out through that lower valance. So again, a real nice touch that Mopar did on some of these cars, and those would be like a factory option. And also upon decoding the fender tag, that was the option for this particular car for those chrome box tips. So again, dual exhaust. You do have a set of Dynamax turbo mufflers back here. So again, it's going to give it a nice little throaty sound to it. Maybe not as deep as like say some of your Flowmasters or Magnaflows, but still a good deep throaty sound nonetheless. Now as far as going from side to side on the car here, we do have Goodyear Polyglass F6015s, all four corners. So again, these would be like your bias ply tire. Again, all the same size and all the same brand the whole way around the car. Mounted on 15-inch factory steel rally wheels. Now these are the painted rally wheels. They've got the beauty rings and the center caps on them. Drum brakes back here on the rear of the car. You also have drum brakes up front as well. This is a factory four-wheel drum brake car. As far as the suspension, this is all stock. So you've got the multi-leaf rear suspension. You've got the shocks, and those appear to have been fairly new, not brand new, but fairly new. Back shocks, front shocks, look to have been replaced with some new ones here fairly recently. The rear end, this is a Mopar 8 3/4 inch rear end here. Now the center section that's in that, we did run the numbers on that. That's what they called the 489 center section, which was an 1 7/8 tapered stem pinion. So that's probably, I believe for the 8 3/4, that's your stronger pinion that they did put in that. So again, that's what it has for the center section. Now this had the high performance axle package in it also, and it's got a 391 gear ratio in it. So again, that pretty much tells you everything about that rear end on this car. All right, here we are underneath the center of our 71 Plymouth Cuda now. And again, just looking at this, you can tell how nicely this thing was kept through the years. The floors in this thing are good and solid. All the correct factory stamped floor pans in this car. No patching that I can see whatsoever underneath here. And this looks to be factory undercoating that we see underneath here. Typically our cars, will just do a light dusting of like a flat black paint. This had the factory undercoating. Again, just a thin coat of it, and it's uniform throughout the whole car. So that's why I say it appears to be factory undercoating as to how well it is actually sprayed on here. As I said, dual exhaust, complete with your crossover pipe here. All new exhaust pipe, clear back to your mufflers. Again, those are dual Dynamax mufflers, and then the tailpipes that we saw earlier. The emergency brake cables, those are hooked up on this car. So all the correct hardware, got it coming through the frame where it should be. And then the J hook here for the frame, all intact. And again, cables run all the way back to those rear brakes there. So emergency brake is intact and operable on this car. All of the frame sections, the cross members here, transmission, everything like that, all nice and super straight on this car. Front frame section, nice and super straight on the car as well. All of your brake lines, your fuel lines, those are run anywhere there's a bend. They've put that spiral, I don't know what the technical term is for it, but that spiral stuff around it to help protect the lines from kinking anywhere that there's a bend. So again, that's real nicely done on this car. The transmission, now this is a 4-speed manual transmission here on the car. We do have flywheel cover here intact. So again, that's just to help prevent any dirt and debris from coming in and chipping a tooth off the flywheel, causing you any kind of premature failure on that. So again, a nice safety feature there. And like I said, all of our videos, we try to make sure all of our cars have that intact. Like I said, all the floors, even up here in the footbox area, those look to be all very nice, solid, one-piece metal, no patches whatsoever that I can see. Now, as far as the steering components, I can tell you this, it looks as though this has had some new ball joints put in it. So again, all that stuff maintained well. You can tell it's been greased. Tie rods are in good shape. Drag length for the steering in good shape. Pitman arm in good shape also. So all that stuff's intact. Front suspension on this car is going to be all stock stuff. So your lower control arms, upper A-arms, all stock stuff. Again, I mentioned newer shocks have been put on this car fairly recently. Again, the ball joints, and then this has the torsion bar front suspension on it. So that's what these cars came with from the factory. Those are all intact, bushings and everything. All look good on all of that stuff. So again, this car has been maintained very well. All right, now finally we've made our way to the front end here of our 71 Cuda. So again, we'll just work our way across side to side. Again, I've already mentioned the Goodyear Polyglass GT F60 15 tires, all 4 corners. I've already mentioned too that we do have all 4-wheel drum brakes on this car. It is a power steering car. And again, all of the suspension up front here is all of the stock components, the stuff that this car would have come with from the factory as options. So again, the torsion bar front suspension, you've got the strut rods up here to help keep your lower control arms in line where they should be. The shocks that have been, just fairly recently replaced, ball joints replaced, upper A-arms, lower control arms, all factory stuff. You can see the front cross member here too, nice and straight on this car, so you can tell it hasn't been banged up or beat up or anything. Front sway bar, all your bushings are good on the front sway bar too, so the chassis mount bushings and back here your sway bar end links, the bushings on those top and bottom, all in real good condition on this car. Now, as far as driveline on this car, we've already been over the rear end and the transmission. But the motor in this car is a numbers matching motor. So we've got a 340 cubic inch Mopar engine, the numbers match motor. We'll have photos of the numbers on the block and everything like that. And then again, that 4-speed transmission, and then that Mopar 8 3/4 rear end. As we get to doing our top side video and we open the hood up for you, we'll talk more about that motor and some of the components that are on there. So again, that's just kind of all part of the course there for what we do. So other things that I can see underneath here, just from my standpoint, we can see it's got the factory 26-inch radiator. I can definitely see it's got a 6-blade clutch fan in it with the fan shroud on it as well. And again, the frame rail sections up here, they are all square and straight. So again, a very nicely maintained car throughout all of its years of life here. So we'll go ahead and get this thing down off the lift now for you, take you around the outside. Again, beautiful car, so I don't think you'll be disappointed. So we'll get to that next. All right, here we are now. We've got our 71 Cuda here down off the lift. So now we're going to go ahead and take you around the outside of this car. Now, from what I understand on this particular car, I did a little bit of researching on it. This is one of 1,141 Cudas with the 340 4-speed, 2-door hardtop cars. And from what I've been told, the white billboard option on this car is a very rare option. And this was factory option too. So again, I'm not sure the exact number, but I just want to put that out there that it was a rare option on these cars. So again, just to go around the outside of the car, we've got a 71 Cuda, again 340. This is the numbers match motor, along with the 4-speed transmission and the 8 3/4 rear end. This is the dark bronze poly exterior color here. Again, the paint, for the most part, it has been resprayed, mainly everything, but I think maybe the hood and the trunk on this car, but it's done in the correct, original color that this car did come in. So again, for the most part, all of your paint and everything is in really good shape as far as side doors, stuff like that. Now the hood and the trunk, I will tell you this, it's got some older paint on it. So again, but the sides, top, and all that stuff, that has been resprayed. We've got the bright wheel lip moldings on this particular car. The 15-inch factory steel painted rally wheels here for the Mopar with the beauty rings and the center caps. Now these do have the Goodyear Polyglass F60 15 GT tires on them. You see that it's got the scoops here, or the vents in the fender here. So again, all of that is in really good shape. The bright work on all of that stuff is real good. The vent area is also real nice. Nothing broke or cracked in any of that. As far as the doors go, you can look at the gaps here, both on the front and on the back side. The gaps on this car are really good. So panel fitment, alignment, real nice. Elevations are perfect on this door too. Now this car is very highly optioned up. As you'll see in our photos, it's got 2 fender tags on it, so one completely full, then it's continued on to a second. So again, all of your options, you've got fender and hood mounted turn signals. You've got the dual OS racing mirrors here, both on the driver passenger side mirror. Now this is a remote mount mirror, so it's got the little handle inside to go ahead and do your adjusting with. While I'm back here, I'll go ahead and open this up because we're just going to real quickly right now take a look at this. Again, that same color on the inside of the door, your weather stripping here, the door jamb, U-seals, all that stuff, that's in really good shape. There's no cracks or tears out of any of those moldings. It's even got the little rubber bump stops both on the top and on the bottom of that door. Again, the wide sill moldings down here, those are in good shape. Now this car also came from the factory with leather as the option. So again, leather interior, the pistol grip in there, 4-speed car. So again, very highly optioned up. We'll go ahead and close that. Again, it closes nice. The bright drip rail moldings on the car too, those are in good shape. They're not dented or dinged in at all, and polished up pretty nice on this car. Again, this big white 340 billboard decal here. This again was the factory option on this car, so this wasn't added on after, it was factory option. Again, the Goodyear Polyglass tires down here, F60 15s, all same size tires, same name brand, all 4 corners, beauty ring center caps, and those beauty rings on all 4 wheels are in really good shape too. All right, now here we are around the back side here of our 71 Cuda. Again, this is a bit of a, as we mentioned on the Underside video, a bit of a survivor car here. So again, paint on the deck lid and on the hood, showing a little bit of its age, but again, the rest of the car has been resprayed. You've got the blacked out tail panel here for the Cuda, of course the Cuda emblem back here, and then the bumpers, front and rear both. This would be the original bumpers for this car and the original chrome. So again, showing a little bit of the age, but again, they're in really good shape for the age that the car actually is. Again, they've got the little bumperettes down here. Then your lower valance, this would be correct. And again, factory option was for these chrome box tips down here for the exhaust. So that is all correct. Tail lights on this car and backup lights are all in excellent shape. The lenses, they're not cracked or no chips out of those, and the bright work around those and the trim work around here too is all in really good shape, nicely polished up, no marks in that at all. So let's go ahead and open up our trunk and we'll take a look in here. So of course, first thing, we've got that correct color here, that dark bronze poly here that's on the underside of the trunk lid as well. Our weather stripping here around the trunk is in really good shape. Again, there's no cracks or tears out of it. Now it's not new, but again, there's no cracks or tears. So again, it should seal up just fine on this car. The inside of the trunk, same, that dark bronze poly here, painted throughout the trunk. The whole trunk itself is in really nice shape, all solid. I don't see any patching on the trunk at all. Again, the paint on this is nice and smooth and shiny, even in the trunk here. Now it does come with this trunk mat that's in here also, and then we do have the floor mats in here as well. Now what we do for our photo and video purposes is we always take those out so that we could show the condition of the carpeting, but we always put them in the trunk if they come with them. That way you have those to go ahead and protect your carpeting once you purchase the vehicle. Okay, now we're here on our passenger side. So again, everything's the same as what it was over on the driver's side, so we'll just quickly work our way up through here. Again, those white billboard decals here, that did come from the factory with this option. So again, we have pictures of even the build sheet for this car, and it shows that correct option on there, which would be your V stripe, which was the 6W stripe. That's your white billboard stripe. So again, that's all correct. And the decal is in good condition. Again, it looks new on there, but it's not. Again, 340 emblem on there. That signifies what is under the hood on this car. Again, I've already mentioned the Goodyear polyglass tires here, F60 15s, all four corners. Those factory Mopar rally wheels with the beauty rings and the center caps. Again, the rings, all four corners are all in excellent shape on this car. Again, as we get up here to the door, you can see your gaps here on both the back side and up here on the front side. And you can see that very, very nice gaps on here, nice and tight, just like the driver's side was. Elevations are dead on this car. So again, panel fitment is really, really good on this car. We've already mentioned another factory option. There's dual OS racing mirrors here. So we've got them on both sides. We'll go ahead and pop our door open here real quick. And again, we've already been through most of this, but again, it carries that same dark bronze poly on the interior as well. The wide sill moldings down here, again, those are in good shape. The leather interior, the high back bucket seats, the full door panels on the car, and again, weather stripping on this car, the little rubber bump stops, and again, the door jamb U-seals. Those are all in really good condition on this car. Even the weather stripping up along the top of the glass there, that is in good shape too on this car. No cracks or tears. And the door shuts nice and easy too over here as well. So as we work our way forward, the glass in this car is in nice shape. I would say it's probably the factory glass, original glass, and that was another option too. This was all tinted glass. So the whole way around it is tinted. Again, like I said, we've got those scoops here in the front fender, the vents. Again, the bright work is just as it should be, nicely polished up. The painted areas and even the grill areas in here, those are in good shape as well. Those bright willet moldings, again, in excellent shape. They're polished up nice and they're nice and straight. We don't have any dents or dings in any of those. And again, we've already mentioned the tires. So as you can see here, you see these little things up on top of the fender. Again, factory option. This was your fender mounted turn signals. So you have one on each side, obviously. We've got the sport style hood here too. Again, with the 340 Cuda emblems on the scoops on each side. All right, now we finally made it 360 degrees around our car. So here we are at the front end. Okay, so this is your 71 Plymouth Cuda front end and grill work here. Again, the grill's in excellent shape. It's all solid. There's no pieces broke or anything out of it. So again, all intact and in good shape. The headlights, you got both your low beam and your high beams. These are your, just your regular sealed beam lights. Glass lenses in them, and again, all four of those are in excellent shape. The glass isn't cracked, no chips in any of that either. As you look down below, another option this comes with is the road lights or your driving lights. So those are down here. Again, the bezels, the bright work around those are in good shape. The lenses themselves, no cracks or chips in those either. And again, that lower balance, that's the correct one for the car. Your turn signals down there, same thing. The lenses, no cracks or chips in those. Now this is your traditional sport style hood here with the hood hold down pins. And again, that was not an add-on after the fact option. That came from the factory with the hood hold down pins. And again, we've already mentioned the fender mounted turn signals up on top there. So let's go ahead and pull these pins out real quick. We'll just try to be real nice and gentle with those as we lay them down. And we'll open the hood. Okay, so here we go, underside of the hood. That same dark bronze poly on the underside of the hood. All the seals and everything, all intact and in excellent shape. This is numbers matching motor. So this is the correct 340 cubic inch Mopar engine, 275 horsepower, 4-barrel carburetor motor. Factory air cleaner up on top. You've got just your regular factory painted valve covers, cast intake that's on there as well. Stock cast exhaust manifolds also that dump into those dual exhausts. You've got the heater lines all hooked up here also. Factory 26-inch radiator with the clutch fan and your fan shroud down here. You also see the battery here. This is your original style battery here too, with all the correct caps on it as well. Fender tags are intact for this car. You've got two of them because this car is so highly optioned. They had to continue on to a second fender tag. This is a power steering car as well, but it did have manual 4-wheel drum brakes. That's exactly how the car was optioned from the factory. As far as the ignition system goes, you do have just still the stock style distributor in here with the stock style coil in it. But again, motor, drivetrain, the whole thing runs very good on this particular car. So again, with that said, that's everything under the hood. All right, here we are now sitting inside our 71 Cuda. So everything on the interior of this car, just as nice as what the outside was here. Again, all black interior, factory optioned leather, high back bucket seats. This is the factory steering wheel and column in the car, factory dash also. And this car came optioned from the factory as well with this rally instrument cluster. So within that cluster, you had a 150 mile an hour speedo, you had the tach in dash, you had the fuel, oil, temperature, and alternator gauge all in one unit there. And then you also had the factory clock in dash as well. As far as the radio goes, now they have replaced the stock AM static state radio, but they went with kind of a more error correct, or not digital, but analog AM FM cassette player on it. And it does not look like they had to alter the dash at all. It looks like that went into the factory holes, so that's nicely done. Factory heater controls also still remain intact on this car. So again, the dash pad up top, dash pad is for the most part in good shape. It looks like we have just one tiny little split right in the center here that I can see. But again, this car is more so a survivor car, and for what it is, this thing is in really good shape. As far as the carpeting goes, black carpeting, excellent condition. I do not see any rips or tears in the carpeting and no fading whatsoever. Same thing with these leather seats. I don't see any rips or tears anywhere in that. It barely looks like they were used actually in the car, so that's good. Headliner also, no rips or tears in that. all nice and tight. All the bows are in there correct. So again, headliner in good shape. All seat belts are present in this car too. So you've got the front belts, the back belts. You even have the shoulder harnesses that are tied up along the top edge here of your headliner here, as they should be. Pistol grip, 4-speed shifter here. Again, that was an option, came from the factory in this car. This is the Muncie shift arm here too. The factory 4-speed center console with the wood grain inlet trim on it. Again, this is all factory items as well. The full door panels, and then of course it's got the Cuda badging on the interior as well. I mentioned before too that remote mount driver's mirror, so you've got the little adjuster on your driver's door for that as well. With that said, that's pretty much everything that we can go over right now, other than going ahead and firing up the engine for you. So with that said, that's what we'll do next. In the meantime, if you have any further questions or anything at all you'd like to discuss about this car or any other car that we have on our site, feel free to contact us. All of our contact information will be made available to you throughout all the photos and video, and you can get it on our website, www.hanksters.com.